It's safe to say that Aviation 18 has made quite a difference in the model aircraft community on YouTube. Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of his latest GeminiJets model airport updates. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Alrighty everybody, so I hope all of you are excited for today's video. Taking a look here at Aviation 18's Baltimore update for July of 2025. Really hope all of you are excited for this today. Quite a few implications here, so we'll talk about that through the video. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and get started, everybody. So yeah, I really appreciate what Aviation 18 does and definitely want to acknowledge him here with this video.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going to be doing another update of Baltimore Thurgood International Airport. There's not really any new news to go over, apart from of course the fact that Air Canada Express are returning in 2025, but I've already gone over that in previous updates.
There we go.
So apart from that, there really isn't anything new to note about Baltimore. But starting off here on the runway, we have this United Airbus A320. This aircraft is about to head out to Chicago O'Hare in Illinois. Moving over to the Delta Gate here, we have this Delta Boeing 737-800. This one is going to be heading out to Minneapolis in Minnesota. And next up here for Delta, we have this Delta Connection Embraer E175. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Boston in Massachusetts.
Quite nice.
Next up here, moving on to American. Now here at my squished down semi-fictional version of Baltimore, we have two gates for Delta, one gate for American and one gate for United. So this is the American gate, and in it we have this American Eagle Embraer E175. And this aircraft is going to be heading out to Charlotte in North Carolina. American don't typically send the E-Jets from Charlotte to Baltimore, but I figured I would change things up today.
There we go.
And include this Embraer E175. Next up here we have this Frontier Airbus A321. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Chicago Midway in Illinois. And then moving on to Spirit, here we have this Spirit Airbus A320neo. This aircraft has arrived in from Miami, Florida, and it's going to be heading out to Houston in Texas. We next have this Spirit Airbus A319, which has arrived in from Boston in Massachusetts, and it's going to be heading out to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. And last but not least, for Spirits, we have this again, a Spirit A320neo, just arrived in from New Orleans in Louisiana, and it's going to be heading out to Cancun in Mexico. Spirit are the second largest airline here at Baltimore after Southwest, and they actually have, well, to me anyway, a pretty interesting fleet. Of course, it's an all Airbus fleet, which isn't that interesting in retrospect, but I still think it's pretty interesting, as they were going to be the launch customer of the A319neo. Now, unfortunately, they transferred those orders over to the A321neo, but they were set to be the launch customer of the A319neo, but it's a shame they've gone over to more of the A321s. I think that would have been really cool to see. The A319neo really hasn't sold that well. They don't have many of the A319s left. They only have 6 in operation at the moment, and they are set to be retired sometime this year in 2025. The regular A320s, they have quite a few of them still, so they will still be around for a while. They have 64 of those. They have 30 of the A321s, and then moving on to the Neos. The A320neo, they actually have quite a few of. They have 125 on order in total. They currently operate around 70 of those, with about 55 to go. Those are only rough estimates. But they are actually the leading operator of the A320neo in the US, which I didn't know until recently. And then, of course, the A321neos, which of course some of those orders got transferred from the A319neo, but they have a total of 70 A321neos on order. And while a lot of people don't like the Spirit color scheme, I do like the amount of color they add to an airport. Baltimore is probably one of my favorite airport updates to do, just because of the amount of color you get at this airport. Not only have you got Spirit, of course you've got Southwest with all their blue aircraft, you've also got Condor with their interchanging airline liveries, and Iceland Air as well with their interchanging liveries. So Baltimore is probably the most colorful airport I do, and that of course is very much helped by Spirit. So I like having Spirit here. Moving over to the cargo stand, here we have this DHL Boeing 757-200. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Hartford in Connecticut. Next up here, making its inaugural debut, here we have the Copa Boeing 737 MAX 9 heading out to Panama City in Panama. Of course, Copa at the moment, I believe, are interchanging between the Dash 800s and the MAX 9s at the moment. But as of course we have the MAX 9 in my collection now, I decided to add this Copa 737 MAX 9 into Baltimore for the first time. So as I said, this aircraft is going to be heading out to Panama City in Panama. We then have this British Airways Boeing 787 787-9. This aircraft is going to be heading out to London Heathrow in the UK. Then finally moving on to Southwest now. Here we have the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700. This aircraft is going to be heading out to Nashville in Tennessee after arriving in from Tampa in Florida. We then have the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-800 heading out to Raleigh in North Carolina after arriving in from Atlanta in Georgia. We then have another Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700 heading out to Charlotte in North Carolina after arriving in from Cleveland in Ohio. We then have a Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the Desert Gold color scheme. This aircraft has arrived in from Orlando in Florida and is going to be heading out to Boston in Massachusetts. And then last but not least here for Southwest, we have this Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the Heart livery heading out to Manchester in New Hampshire after arriving in from Islip in New York. And with that, that does conclude today's update of Baltimore Thurgood International Airport. There's not really a lot to go over, so with that, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Now, I know I picked kind of a random video here from Aviation 18 to evaluate, but it kind of I wanted to be a segue into, I forgot to like it, I apologize, I'll be sure to go back and do that here in a minute. But I really wanted to segue because obviously there's going to be some major changes on his channel, so I did kind of want to cover those, to pay the respect and so forth to what Aviation 18's done for the model aircraft landscape on YouTube. So if you don't know, I want to say it was probably 6 months ago or so. Let me see if I can find the video. It could have even been last year when he did it, but it was sometime back over here. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the video, but sometime, several months ago, whenever it was, he made an announcement, and it could even be private at this point unless there's been changes, but you've noticed that the upload frequency has been way less. Just this summer alone, there's only been like 8 videos tops if you want to go back to May. But with that said, the point here is that Aviation 18 had some major changes in his personal life, to put it simply, and he's going to be, after this month, from what I remember hearing in that video, which once again, it was a while ago and I don't even see where it is back here, will be not uploading his Washington airports regularly anymore, which obviously, as you can tell, is a huge amount of the content. Ever since 2023, really, even 2024 a little bit, the frequency of video uploads for Aviation 18 has decreased. I think he has a real life job and quite a few other commitments that is really, took a bunch of his efforts and resources and time to commit to. So as a result, the YouTube uploads have been less, but I certainly want to acknowledge, regardless of what happens, he says that he does plan to upload just on a irregular basis going forward. What he did for our community, what he will continue to do, because his model airports are immaculate. His displays are realistic, precise, and impressive. His model unboxings are very full and very, so much variety and so many cool aircraft. And his trip reports are very informative, very detailed, and so forth. I know I haven't watched several of these as of late. That goes for everybody. I've been doing my best to watch as many as I can. It's just been so tough to get on all the videos and so forth, and my YouTube got messed up somewhere back here, so it's not showing all the videos back here that I watched, because I watched several of these. But I do want to say that they were really good, and he's done a really good job on his content. So obviously, with nearly 73,000 subscribers, nearly 75,000, he obviously has such a big, spoke in the community. So of course, I wanted to acknowledge that. You can see here several of the videos during the pandemic that he made that were very popular, and you can certainly tell, how big of an influence that he had. And I just remember watching so many of these videos during that time frame, and how memorable of a time that was. So I will greatly always appreciate Aviation 18 for that. Not only that though, but obviously all of what he's done for our community, and it's been so awesome to see him thrive and bring so much amazing content here, all on his channel. So Aviation team, thank you for what you do. Regardless of what the future holds, I'm certainly very excited for you, and I really appreciate all of what you've done for our community. So all the best to Aviation 18, a legend that no matter what happens will be remembered greatly in the community, and I'm hopeful to see several exciting videos as we continue to move forward from Aviation 18. With that being said, that'll do it for today's video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Just process. Do you love and love you do. My name is CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon as CM Aviation, is signing off.